Hello, Kylie Bertucci, #1 demonstrator in Australia with you today for take 2, yet again. I wish Facebook would fix their glitches. I'm blaming Facebook on this one. And the fact that I restarted my phone twice to try and fix it. But hopefully you'll jump back in and I can see your comments. I've got a frog in my throat at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't raise its ugly head during my chat today. Yes, I can see comments. I've never been happy to see take 2 ever. So please share my video if you want others to learn from this topic, because it's an awesome, awesome topic. I have heard this over and over again. Has everyone heard this before? Oh, my team are full of hobbies. They're hobby demos. They don't want to build a business. Have we heard this before? I'm sure we have. Hello, everyone. Come on in. This is nice seeing everyone jump on in. I'm seeing lots of familiar names. Yes, we're back. It's not you, it's them. It would help if I was a little bit more organized, though. There's always something I can do in this process. I leave everything till the last minute and I'm like, no, it's not working. So yes, if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. If you're watching live, amazing. We've already got 25 people here. And if you're on YouTube, then subscribe somewhere around here. It was the mouse. Yes, I'm going to blame that mouse. He was kind of cute, that mouse, though. He was little and he was very sweet. So I'm jumping straight in because we have got lots to cover today. I have got a lot of passionate information to share with you, and I really apologize in advance if I offend anyone. However, sometimes we need to hear some truths. Is this not right? I'm learning myself because, you know, I'm trying to do the blame game on Facebook. But we do have to accept some accountability with things at times. And sadly, in this day and age, accountability is getting rarer and rarer because more people have our own insecurities and issues. And so if we can deflect anything that we don't want to hurt us, then it's easier to blame someone or something else. Hello, Ellie. Good to see you again. So if I was to pose a question, I like that, bring it on. If I was to pose a question, how many of you here today live joined because you want a cheap discount? I'll ask it that way around. How many joined as a hobby? Be ready for the brutal truth. Yes, bring it on. Here it comes. I've got my boxing gloves on. You joined for the discount. Vicky joined for the discount. Helen joined for a discount. Joanne joined for a discount. Kylie joined for a discount. Lisa joined for a discount. Should I pose the other question? Someone say, if they joined as for a business, say, I joined for business. Ellen might be one. Tina's hobby, Suzanne's hobby, Shelley's hobby, Josie's hobby. Wow. Yep, Ellie's our first business girl. So was there any other business? It was a bonus, but I wanted a business. Okay, there's another business. But on the whole, we are seeing a pattern here. Nicole joined for a business. Oh, Julie joined for a business. Excellent. So there's a few. But on the whole, the business side is very rare. It is a rare entity. You girls are very, very different because most people joined because they were like, I'll get a discount. So I'm happy to do that. And the key area is if we were to look at our team, and it might be something that all of you could do if you have team members, is to ask them, why did they join? Why have you joined? Are you a hobby demo or are you a business demo? And what do you think the percentage of people would say in your team? Do you have any business demos in your team? You joined for the social events. Pay for the addiction, yes, yeah. Business was never given as an option, yeah. Wow, $25. I remember that special. I think I had about 50 people join that special. But when we look at our teams, on the whole, it is very rare to get someone who joined completely to start a business. So it's a very unusual thing to say, oh, I've got this team, but they're all business people. And this is where I have a new term, and it's called a hobby business person. And what it is it's a really interesting psychological thing. I want you to think about your mothers and maybe even your grandmother. Did your mother work? Did your mother have a business? And even if you say yes to that, what about your grandmother? Did she have an education? Did she have a business? So think about your grandmother. I think that would be the place to go. What was your grandmother's situation? Was she a stay-at-home mum? Were they struggling with money? What was the event for your grandmother? Because this is a really interesting situation to look at because, and I think we'll find out when everyone starts putting comments through. I'll wait till everyone comments. What was your grandmother's history? Housewife? Yep. Your mum worked? Okay. What about grandma? Oh no, that's sounding like me. Your grandma has a business, Melanie. Wow, that's amazing. What generation are you, Melanie? Do you mind me asking how old you are now? Stay at home with 10 kids. Your grandparents ran a circus. Wow, that's cool, Debbie. Housewife. Your grandmother was a bartender. Stay-at-home mum but worked for others. Too busy to work, had 9 kids. Yep. Wow. Housewife, and the other one was a teacher. Yep. They worked on the orchid. Okay, so that's really interesting. So I think that what I'm trying to get at is, oh yeah, so you're in that generation. That's very rare for your grandmother to have, had a business. So that's very interesting. But I think what I'm trying to get at is that women in business is new. And particularly the type of women in business that this generation has is very, very new. Like, even though our mums might have worked, to actually own a business, run a business, and particularly a business that runs on its own, that is run by a woman, we could say is pretty rare. And so what this does is it's created a psychological thing in most women that we are not able to run businesses, or that we shouldn't. Like, we somehow feel some sort of guilt or some sort of thing that holds us back. So either fear of success or fear of failure, but a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear behind women in business. And so a lot of the times what we tend to do to protect ourselves is we call ourselves a hobby demonstrator. Do you know that this is not a term that Stampin' Up has ever used? They will never, they've never promoted this. No matter what, when you sign that IDA, you now have a business. You are a business demonstrator, ultimately, because you've signed an IDA that allows you to sell. But the psychology of women, and because of the fact of our generations before us, this is a new thing, and it's a scary thing. And we are paving the new way for this new generation, for our daughters and for the next generation, to change the face of business. And we're seeing incredible women, entrepreneurs, are doing amazing, amazing things. And you need to tap into what these women have done and what they have accomplished whilst having children, whilst having responsibilities. And we have amazing men now that support this. Whereas years ago, women were seen but not heard. The men were the breadwinners, and if that balance changed, that would be very, very difficult for a man to accept. And even now, it's still challenging if we have a successful business. for a man to accept that change. It's just a natural masculine, feminine thing to do. So we've got a lot to overcome even before we start creating a team and before we start to decide to run a business, because we're already out of the norm. And what people will tend to do, the more people you talk to about saying, oh yeah, I've started a business, they try and squash it. And they're not being mean, it's just society. It's like, what? You're doing what? No, that's not going to work. Have you heard these before from family? No. You don't make money from making cards, love. What are you talking about? What's this little business thing? What a laugh. And this is a really, really detrimental, awful thing for people to say. Do not tolerate it. Do not put up with this. Yes, does this sound familiar? Even the laugh. Judgment. I'm hearing your judgment. Stop judging me. This is going to happen. So you not only do you need to overcome your own fear, you need to overcome the fear of people around you and the stigma that society has put. So we have a lot of things that psychologically, emotionally, that we have to overcome as women in business. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Yes, we've all heard it. And you know what? Sometimes we start to believe it. We start to think, maybe I am being a bit stupid. You know, maybe this is a bit of a pipe dream that I just made up. It is not a dream. You can do it. But you have to push through this, and you have to push hard, and you have to have tenacity, and you need to keep going and be consistent. Do not let people crush your dreams. It can happen. And Bruno is quitting his job probably at the end of the year. I'm going to come and get him and say, come on, come and join me. Yes, family put down is very common. I think even my dad said to all my family, yeah, you can't make money out of that. Here is some humble pie, Father. I hope you're enjoying it. But the amazing thing is I learnt my business skills from him and my mother. You know, they were the ones that taught me and gave me that, because my mum actually was very, very good at business. Very good. And that was very rare for a mum. She created things out of nothing so that we could basically get some extra cash. And that is where I think I've learnt a lot of my confidence from. But a lot of people don't have a mother like that. They have a mum that either stayed home or worked for other people. My mum always created her own industries. She made them up. And they were all based on creativity too. She would do sewing. She would create little uniforms for kindergartens and hand paint them. So a lot of what I've learnt has come, and my dad ran business, like he runs restaurants. So I have two entrepreneurs in the family that I've been able to give me that confidence, but not a lot of people have this background. Being a woman in my mid-50s, out of the workforce for 10 years, I'm told I'm a dreamer. Yep. But Ellie, we all start from somewhere. And ultimately, you've just got to keep going. And you know what? For some of us, it may be a challenge. You know, it may be, yes, that's right, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You know, it may be a challenge, but we can do it. We just have to find our way of doing it and not do it based on what someone else is doing. We have to find our own way to get our own success. And our own success can be very different to the person next to us. So looking at all of this background and all this psychology, what does this have to do with our hobby demos? So basically, our job as team leaders, I never want to hear someone say to me again, I'm sure it'll come up, but I'm being very dramatic, all right? This is the dramatic, I'm giving you a big, you know, punch in the face. Not literally. I would never be so rude. But I never want to hear a demonstrator say, I have a team full of hobby demonstrators and they don't want to run a business. Do you know who it stops with? Do you know why you have a team full of hobbyists and they're not doing anything? Because of you. You are their direct upline. You are their team leader. And it is up to you as their leader to inspire. Yes, dramatic music. Dun dun. It is because of you that they are not progressing. if you want your team to succeed, you need to pave the way. You need to help them succeed. You need to create the environment for them to succeed. And you need to find the psychological way to help them to do it. You cannot expect these people to randomly join and suddenly go, I'm going to build a business, because they are like 5% of our joining. 5% of people in my team, 95% are hobby demos. You can even do it when you're shy, Debbie. Look at wonderful Mary Fish. Mary Fish is quite shy. She has been able to run an amazing business because she is good at training and she's good at supporting people and she helps people. You cannot expect... Yes, that's true, Lisa. However, there's a really interesting twist on that, because I actually think you can make them drink. However, they have to enjoy what they're drinking, and there has to be a reason for them to drink. You can't do that with a horse because they're a bit silly. They're a human. However, they're not human. Animals are different to humans. Anyway, but humans, you can help them to drink. You can. A horse, no. But a human, yes. Give them a why. Help them to understand. Now, nah, Sam's not shy at all. She says she's shy. I don't believe it one bit. She doesn't have me fooled. I keep saying that to her. I've said that to her face, by the way. I'm like, yeah, whatever, Sam. She's like, no, I really am shy. Whatever. I don't believe it. I shouldn't say that. That's mean, isn't it? I'm squashing her feelings, but she is amazing. So you need to look at, how do you inspire them? How do you motivate them? And this is what I want you to write down. And I've got something new for you today that I'm going to pop up. So you need to come back once I finish the video. But I am going to do what I'm calling a little, kind of like a survey, but more a little worksheet type thing that I want you to look at, so that you can see areas where you may be lacking when it comes to your team, and how to motivate your team. For you to write down some really amazing ideas, because if you look at any study from university, from business, so many books that I read say if you write it down, you will more likely achieve them and make it happen. Because if you write it down, it's realistic and it just changes something in our brain when we write it down. It's like it becomes cemented, it's concreted. But it's going to be online, but it's still the same thing. Just typing it out, putting it out, and make sure you print it up and keep a copy for yourself. And I think it will be fascinating to see areas where you can really look at how you can help your team better. Here are some of the things that might sort of jog some ideas. So firstly, celebrate small wins. If we're looking at the psychology of women having fears, having insecurity, not feeling confident, we need to build their confidence. That is our number one job, is helping them be confident and be strong, independent women. Because we do not want them to be attached to us like an umbilical cord and we're carrying around our team everywhere. Our goal is to help them get to a point where they start becoming their own leaders in their own right. And that is a process, and you have to know when to cut the umbilical cord. You have to know when is the right time for them to stand on their own 2 feet. But when they first start, your goal is to help them see what benefits they can get from just trying new things. And even if they don't end up making it a full-on business, or they don't progress, further than silver or anything like that, that is totally fine. But you have made a difference to that person in their life, and they will feel amazing about the things that they have been able to achieve in that short amount of time. So here are some things you can do. Celebrate small wins and highlight them. Do you have a group? Firstly, you need to have a group, either in person or online. Do you have a support system and a community for them? Advancements and quick start. Do you check the reports to let them know that when they are close? So do you know your team well enough that you know what they're doing in their business or with Stampin' Up? Do you have team gifts or rewards? Do you hold meetings either online or in person? Do you have a team newsletter? Do you survey your team and find out how you can help them personally and what they need? What are their needs? Do they want to do more? There are some people that want to do more and they don't express it. And if you never ask, you're probably just assuming, oh, they just want to buy and get cheap product. And then you find out a year later, oh, no, I'm aiming for Silver Elite. What? Where did this happen? You need to know your team and you need to know what they want, and it changes. What they say at the beginning does not mean they're going to stay that way. So you need to constantly review and do those surveys. So something that I do with my team, and it's something that has been super, super successful, and it's something that we love doing. We love hopping together. I'm sure you've seen the Crazy Crafters blog hop. It's probably given us a bit of a name, and that's how the team is well known as well. So it's got my team name out there. And the amazing thing about the Crazy Crafters blog hop is that started from one of my team members requesting it and said, how about we do a hop together? Sure, I'm going to listen to my team. If that's something that my team member wants, absolutely, let's try it. And it was difficult. It was definitely challenging to begin with. However, it became something that enabled my team members to have a reason to start a blog. Because before that, if you were starting a blog, then that meant you were starting a business and you were getting all serious. Oh my goodness, I don't want to get serious. I'm only in this for fun. But now for my team, blogging is fun. It is so much fun and they love it and they don't want to miss out on it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're starting a business. However, they have the beginnings of being able to start a business if they decide to do so. So it's an awesome, awesome way to get together, to create community, to support each other as a team, to try new things, to build new skills. And, you know, it means having to train them as well. Do you have the skill set to be able to train? Do you feel confident enough in blogging that you can then in turn help your team member? And if you don't, you need to learn. You need to learn how to help your team. And you may not be able to be the most amazing person when it comes to training your team, but find resources that can help them. Find resources that help you to become a teacher, because that is your role as a team leader. You can't expect people to just go out there and do all that research on their own. If you did it as a team and said, hey, let's nut this out. How can we create a blog for free? Where do we go? What are our resources? If it means you have to invest, you have to invest. You know, if there's a reason for them to start blogging that's really cool and fun, they will invest. They will buy a video on how to blog, which I happen to have, by the way, if you need a blogging video. Do you like that little pitch there? But it's true. If you really genuinely want your team to progress, you know, they will be willing to pay too. They will be willing to put in the hard yards and learn and to do it. And the key area with my team is I keep it so simple so that they don't feel overwhelmed and that they can do it themselves and that they feel confident. $30, Laurie. That's how much I do my blog training for. And it just makes it affordable, because if you go to someone and you say, I would like a blog, you know, you're looking at $500, $1,000, $1,500. But then there's some people that are willing to pay that, and good on them. If they have $500, Louise Sharp does blogs. You can go to Louise Sharp. She will build a blog for your team member and do all the branding and amazing things and all the bells and the whistles. And that would be great if you're like, I am really serious and I want to do a business. I can teach anyone. Thank you for that compliment, Rosalie. But yeah, so I do it super cheap so that basically you should be in bed. Naughty girl, Jessie. I was up late last night too. I was so naughty. It's like, put that phone away. It's so bad for sleep. But yes, so I keep it really cheap so that demonstrators can learn themselves. And I don't know, there's something really amazing about accomplishing something that is you think is really difficult. And then when you have the step-by-step help there, you're like, oh, this is not so bad after all. And when you create it yourself from scratch, oh my goodness, the feelings are just so amazing. Yes, you want to throw your computer through the window a few times, But when you finally do it, it's like, oh, such an achievement. Whereas if you get given it, sometimes I think you don't appreciate it as much. If you work hard for it and you put your blood and your sweat and your tears into it, it becomes this precious little baby to you that you want to look after and you want to use and utilize. And so that's really important for your team members to have a reason to do that. If they don't have a reason, if you're not giving them a reason to blog hop, why would they? Why would they start? So think about how you can motivate your team in that area, how you can motivate them to try new things, to set new goals, and to progress, not only with Stampin' Up, but in their life, to become independent, strong women. Yes, learning to do it yourself is much better, much, much better. Because if you do it yourself, you know how to update, you know how to add all the pictures, you know how to change things if you want to change things in the future. So it's always very exciting too, and you feel very accomplished. So also I have an end of month for my team. And you know, you look at all of these processes that I have in place, these systems, and it's a very, very, what's the word? Completely gone. But it's basically, I'm serious about it. There's no mucking around. I know exactly what I'm doing for my team, and I'm not all over the place. I'm not wishy-washy. This is what happens at the end of the month. This is what happens every week. I do a Facebook Live video every Wednesday for my team. This is what they know what to expect. We do blog hops every 2 weeks. I just do Blogger, Linda, and the reason why I do Blogger is WordPress.org. Please make sure you don't get WordPress.com. Yes, determined. I like that. Methodical. WordPress.com is really bad. It doesn't allow plugins, and it shouldn't even exist. It's like the worst of the worst. And there's so many demonstrators that have been trapped into doing WordPress.com because it's free, and then they get stuck because it's very limiting. Yeah, it's not a good platform at all. Blogger is not the best. You know, it's not self-hosted. It's not your own. If Blogger decided tomorrow it doesn't exist, I don't think Google is going anywhere though. I think we're pretty safe putting our trust in Google. However, I did get my own domain name, so that has helped to sort of have my own sort of hosting type thing within Blogger. But Blogger's great because it's free, it's easy to use, it is not overwhelming, and it's great as a team leader because that is what I use and that is what I recommend to my team because it is free. Whereas if I did WordPress.org, then you're looking at payments, you're looking at yearly subscriptions. It has a lot more that you can do, but I find when I'm dealing with Stampin' Up women, it's too overwhelming. Sometimes too much information actually prevents people from moving forward. So I just love the simplicity of Blogger. And I love that there is options out there to get a lot of designs and things like that. You can basically buy a Blogger template for a really cheap price, and it's easy to do. It's easy to put in. So all of that, I kind of have, looked at the different pros and cons, and that's why I've chosen Blogger as the platform of choice. So yeah, I think that it's really interesting, as we were saying before, like it's being determined. Yes, keep it simple. You want it to be simple because you want them to be able to actually accomplish it. And if anything becomes too overwhelming, it's too easy to give up. Whereas if it's, doable, and I know with the skill set and the technical experience of most of the women that I'm dealing with, it's been the best one. And most people who have done my Blogger training have turned around and said, yep, it took some time. However, I've done it. And I think good on them. And some of them have no computer skills whatsoever and have been able to set up their own blogs. And it's just using the templates that Blogger have. But you know what? That's a brilliant start. To me, it's like, wow, you've got your own blog. And how cool. I created my own blog. And I did it for $30. It's like, that's pretty good. And look, you can do it for free. You literally can just Google everything. But the only reason why I set up the training is because it has everything that you specifically need for being a Stampin' Up demonstrator. So how to link your catalogue and all that sort of thing. I will put the link up for you so then you can have a look and see if it suits you. But it's on my, if you go to my blog and it's under demonstrator training, it will have, yeah, blogger training is there. But I like it being called bogger training. This is how to bog. Yes. But Smriti, you are in the Crazy Crafters, so you get it for free. That's what happens when you're in the Crazy Crafters. I know, it's pretty amazing. So I will put the link up in our team. Yeah, you like that? How to bog. Eat plenty of dates. So anyway, moving along. So I'm very determined. End of month, I have an announcement both on our live video and then also I do a little post as well. I'm so glad, Melissa. I hope I ended up sending it. I ended up going over to Vimeo and I hope I sent you the update. Please message me if I didn't, because I have this sneaking suspicion that there's someone I need to send the Vimeo video to, and I'm pretty sure it's you. See, I couldn't sleep at night because of it. I know, it's pretty amazing, but sometimes what happens when you're a crazy crafter, I will give you an amazing pointer, Ellie. Sometimes when we're given something for free, what can end up happening is we don't appreciate it. I say this to my girls all the time. I'm like, just because you got it for free, it doesn't mean you don't use it. Oh, good. I'm glad. I did something right. So yes, sometimes investing, it's like when you go to a gym and you pay for money as opposed to saying, I'm totally going to work out at home. There's something really amazing that happens when you invest. And when you invest, you actually get more out of it. So yes, the Crazy Crafters have got it amazing, but sometimes if you have it too good, then it can be really difficult to progress too. So both have pros and cons. I know it sounds like ridiculous, but it is actually what ends up happening. And so that's why I like my team hearing from different demonstrators, not just me, because they're just like, meh, whatever, Kylie. We're sick of hearing your voice. It's like, you know, mum's like, do this, I told you to do this, and they don't do it. And then they hear it from some random stranger and they're like, Mum, I'm doing this. It's like, I've only been telling you for the last year. Yes, this means you're a doer, not waiting for it to fall. Fail, sorry. Is that meant to be fail? So yes, anniversaries at the end of the month, anniversary, quick start achievers, top sales, top recruiters, welcomes and advancements. And do you send a card for your team when they advance? Do you know when they advance? Do you announce when they advance? Do you recognize them? Even if they get to qualified recruit, do you make it a big deal? Do you go, yay, qualified recruit, well done? If you're not doing things like that, you cannot expect your team to want to progress at all. There's no reason for them to do so. Are you keeping on track of their performance bonuses? Do you know how many qualified recruits they have and how long it will take them before they get the performance bonus? If you are not completely all in, 100% for your team, then they will miss out. And you will miss out because there's no reason for them to progress because you need to be all over it. If you want your team to progress, it has to come from you. You cannot sit back and wait for your team to just go, I'm going to get to Silver Elite next week. It's not going to happen. There has to be a reason why, and you have to help them unlock that and help them overcome their fears as well. And another key area too is making sure, and this is a really interesting point, Julie. I'm really glad that you've brought this up. Some of us can compare and go, well, I never got this support from my upline. Or my team leader is the new lingo now. Did you know that? It's not upline anymore. It's team leader. It came with the new compensation plan. So you can address everyone now. No, not upline or downline. Because that sounds very, I'm looking down at you and I'm looking up at you. No, they're a team member. Team leader, team member. Leading by example. So yes, I think it's an interesting point, this one, because my original team leader was Bruno's sister, And she was building a business. She had big goals of getting the incentive trip, and she was doing really, really well. But we both basically started together. So it's interesting because it was not long after that she fell pregnant, and it was a bit of a shock, and she decided to finish Stampin' Up. So I basically went to Sue Maddox, who's now my team leader. And it's quite interesting. Sue has been brilliant, and she has been perfect for me. However, I have always been of the opinion that if you want to be a team leader, you need to be a leader. You cannot expect someone to support you. And the ones that do well in my team are the ones that just go out and they do it. And they don't need my support at all. They are complete individuals, and they are living up to their name as independent Stampin' Up demonstrators. You do not want a team that are dependent on you. And if someone in your team can't cut off that umbilical cord and grow on their own with themselves, they are not going to be able to grow a team. To be able to have your own team, you need the skill set to not need any assistance whatsoever from your team leader, because you're a leader. Does that make sense? I'm doing a few harsh truths today. So never ever get sad that you don't have the team leader that you always wanted, because a perfect team leader does not exist. There are times when I drive my team up the wall. I throw so much at them that they're probably like, ah, stop, Kylie. You know, I drive them insane with how much I throw at them. However, the best thing that we can be as team leaders is just support. And that's exactly what my team leader does for me. There are some people out there that have team leaders that it's really, really, really challenging. It's really difficult. And you need to be able to remove yourself from that and realize that your success is not dependent on who you joined with. It is completely individual. You are nothing to do with your team leader. She's just your number one cheerleader. That's all it is. Just yay. And if you're not getting that, find your people. Find your leader. Find your mentor within the industry. There are so many demonstrators out there that you can pick their brain. And I've got my Aim for Alaska support program that only opens up twice a year. The next time that it opens up is September to join in October. If you need support, go and invest in yourself. Go and find that support. Get that amazing, those things that you need, that you know are going to help you succeed. I'm your leader. Well, look, at the end of the day, I give this free because it's here to help you. So no one can end up turning around and saying, well, I don't have support. Stampin' Up have resources. There's so many different Stampin' Up demonstrators that are doing live videos now. You can start your own live video. There is no reason why you couldn't step up and do the exact same thing that I am doing. No reason whatsoever. And if you can't see yourself doing it, then work on it. Work really hard to build your confidence, because this is how you become a leader. This is how you grow a team, and this is how you feel secure in what you're saying. Hi. So yes, I don't like that whole, I don't have the right team leader. It is another one of those awful excuses that holds us back and keeps us boxed. It is nothing to do. And sometimes it is really hard to break free from that box, but you can do it. There is no reason why not. You do not have to be under the shadow of your team leader. You need to become a leader, and you are an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. We're all separate. Sorry, my rant's over. I hope that helped you though. Who was the first person that brought it up? I won't mention names. Anyway, I hope that helps. Yes, we're all responsible for our own success. And ultimately, the best thing I have found, you know, I'm very fortunate. Sue is very generous. She gives me gifts and she sends cards. And, you know, sometimes she feels really guilty. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry I haven't done more. It's like, I don't expect you to do anything. And I think that it's really rude if you expect your team leader to do something. If you want a successful team, absolutely put everything into it, but it should not be expected. If you have a team leader that doesn't support you, doesn't do meetings, you know, doesn't do anything at all, doesn't send you an email, you never hear from them, I don't want to hear you whinge about it. I do not want to hear you whinge about it at all. What are you doing for your team? It's not about what you're getting. What are you giving? I don't like complaining. Go and make your own team if you don't have the team leader that you wanted. Just go and make your own and be to them what you always hoped you had. And ultimately, everyone is in a different place. Everyone, you know, has different things happening in their life. And ultimately, you can't expect a team leader. Maybe she started out, built a business, went, oh my goodness, guns blazing. And then someone got sick in her family, or her priorities changed, or something happened in her life that meant she had to shift focus. She moved house. Someone got sick. Life happens. I don't even know tomorrow if I'm going to continue being in the role that I'm in. You don't know what can happen tomorrow. So you have to step up. Yes, you have to be the leader you wanted to have. Yes. And ultimately, you know, the only reason why I'm putting so much effort into my team and why I give them so much and give them the resources is because that is how I become successful. It is part of my business. If I don't want a business, then I wouldn't have to do what I'm doing. I could just, you know, let everyone do their thing. And you know what? That is okay. It is totally fine to do that. You need to be bossing me around tomorrow. So it's true. It's like, I don't like how other demonstrators guilt their team leaders into giving them more. It's like, well, what are you doing for your team leader? Do you thank them? Do you send them a card? Do you appreciate them? Even if they did nothing, you know, what are you doing for them? We're all about us all the time, which is, you know, very human, but try and see it from their perspective, and I think you'll have a lot more empathy. How would you go if you had a team of 250 people? Where would you begin? How would you help your team? How would you support them? And what would you expect of yourself if you had a team of 250 people? You cannot do it all. And sometimes I'm really mean, and my team members will come to me and they'll ask me a random question, or even other demonstrators have asked me the most random questions. My favorite question was, I've been given a voucher. What should I spend the voucher on? Which stamp set do you recommend? Yes, that's me with crickets. I'm like, what? You want me to be? So I felt like making up a stamp set. I'll just make it up, and then she'll have to go through the. No, that would have been mean. I said, just pick the stamp set that you love the most. And this is what happens. It's like, why couldn't you answer that? It's not. Why would you ask me what stamp set to get? Like, are we children? Do we not have brains? Can we not think? And so if someone asks me a question that person could clearly answer themselves, they are going to get the wrath of Kylie crickets, because we have to become adults. We have to become independent. If you go to your team leader and you ask them, and poor Sarah, she was on my other video, she asked me what the postage is from America to Australia. It's like, what? I'm not the post office in America. I don't know the answer to that question. Anyway, that's another rant out of the way. So yes, if you have team members that ask you silly questions, you need to look at what's the app called? Let me Google that for you. $1.15. Thank you, Sarah. No, you don't answer it. You say, you go to the post office and you ask the person at the post office how much it costs. And when you ask the person at the post office how much it costs, you write it down. And then you have learnt something new for today. I thought you knew everything. Yes, you need to do tough love, because otherwise, honestly, if you have a team of 250 people and they're asking you what clothes to put on for the day, this is not good. You will not get anything done, because you still need to run a business. You still have a business to run. You still have customers, and you still need to find new recruits. If you have a team full of people that are dependent on you, you will not be able to make an income from Stampin' Up. They need to be independent Stampin' Up demonstrators, and they need to learn that from the beginning. You know, there was a lady that contacted me, and she wanted me to ring her and walk. It's freezing a bit. Oh no, it's all good. She wanted me to ring her and walk her through the starter kit, and then ring her again. And I was just straight up with her. I said, this is not how I run my business. I have such a short time period that I really need you to be able to do this for yourself. This is something that you can decide what you put into your starter kit. It is not my decision. And she lost the plot. She lost the plot. She's like, I can't believe you've dropped me, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm glad I said it, because if I had someone like that in my team that wanted me to hold her hand, she's going to be really disappointed, because I can't hold hand. I will give information. I will give the training, but then it's up to you. I cannot hold your hand to do that. You need to be independent. Just let Bruno do your order. Well, the funniest thing about the stamp set one is Bruno said, just pick the most expensive one. And I said that. I said, oh, Bruno said to pick the most expensive one. And she wrote back and said, the most expensive one is not always the nicest. Well, pick it yourself. Pick your own stamp set and don't ask for advice ever again. Anyway, to get a team of leaders, you need to lead and support them. You need to be the example. Are you blogging? Are you active? Are you creating? Are you supporting? Are you doing things? If you're not doing it, how can you expect your team to do it? You need to be the example, and you need to be an inspiration to them. You need to help them see how they can overcome their weaknesses, and you need to know them so well that you know what their weaknesses are, and you cannot give up on them. Sometimes in my team, I've had leaders, and that transition, I almost call it like the terrible twos. You know, when the 2-year-old, suddenly you're asking them to do certain things, or you're asking certain behavior of your child. Up until that point, they literally have been the universe. They have been everything. Everything has been about them. They cry, you come, you do everything for them. And it is a bit about the transition between silver and silver elite. That is my little transition point for me. And it's different with every person, but it usually is a good gauge. If you want someone who is silver to become silver elite, you need to have the terrible 2 tantrum. And it is hard for you, and it is hard for them. But if you want them to succeed, you need to let them go and let them fly. And you need to give them some tough love. You need to ask them questions as to what they want, what their goals are, where they're at, how can you help them. However, you're not doing as much as you were before. And this can be challenging for both the team leader and the team member, but it's a transition that needs to happen. Do you know why Macca succeed? They're all the same. You become a good leader, and then your leaders will become a good leader. Absolutely. And it all comes down to training. If you constantly give your team members the information, or constantly hold their hand, they will stay a 2-year-old. They will stay a toddler. They will stay a silver. They will never progress beyond that. And so in order to help them be a leader, then you need to give them, you know, questions. So if they come to you, how do you do this? Where did you look? I don't know. I just thought you would know the answer. Yes, I know the answer, but I want you to go look for it and come back to me and tell me on what page on the policy manual that is. And they're like, what? What just happened to Kylie? I don't like this new Kylie. And it's like, no, you need to go and find out. You are going to have a team one day What would you say if I was your team member and I came to you and asked you that question? Yes. So this is where you start stepping up, Tina. This is where you have to let yourself no longer be a toddler. And you need to start really pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Because we use a lot of excuses. We're like, oh, it's because of this, and it's because of... No, be accountable, own it, get your goals, set them, do it. And don't let anything, when you start hearing negative things, because you will sabotage it with your mind, with what you're doing, you just need to really make up your mind that that's what you want and that you're ready to take on a team. I know what I need and I'm working towards that. Excellent, Courtney. Watch one, do one, teach one. Ah, I like that. That's a very good one. So yeah, so you need to be able to ask questions. So a few of my girls, I did the exact same thing to them and just said, where have you looked? What did you do? What do you think? Questions are an excellent way to find out what's going on. And also, sometimes we can be lazy. But eventually there's a time where if you keep feeding them, they're not going to learn where to go, and they're not going to be able to have a team because they won't be able to help them. Yeah. So I hope that this has helped today. Did you get a lot out of it? I hope you did. I was a bit mean today. Sorry, everyone. Psycho woman's coming. Bruno, don't come home. The hormones are racing. Don't mess with Kylie at this time of the month. We all know what that means. So I hope you get a lot out of it. I will put up the survey or the little worksheet very, very soon. It's something new that I'm trying. And I thought that it would be nice to just go through a few of the things that some of you have said and what you learnt from today's video, because it's no point watching these videos if you don't apply it and you don't use it. So I want you to use them. I want you to really think about the areas that you think you need to improve in and where you can educate yourself more fully. And something that you've learnt, something new that you learnt. So I'll keep it very short and sweet, and you can fill it out as much as you like. You can add lots of words, but it is for you. I will benefit from it, of course, but I will share it. I will ask you if you're okay sharing it, and I will share it the next video because I think that we will learn a lot from each other as well. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm very good at telling you how it is. I have no time for excuses. Now for a team. Oh, that'll be very good, Smriti. I'll make sure I put that link on the Crazy Crafters. So thank you all for coming today. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, make sure you subscribe somewhere here. I have to get the right side. I have to make sure I point to one side and make sure it's on that side. And yes, please share this video if you think that your team will benefit and you want them to say, love me more as your team leader and be nice to me. Appreciate what I do, don't expect it. That's a nice way to put it, isn't it? I am only but a human. Have a wonderful week, everyone. What are we doing next week? Let me see here. I'm attending to my planner. I can't wait to get the Stampin' Up planner. I love your planner, Louise, but I can't wait to get the Stampin' Up planner. So exciting. Not long now. So, what month are we in? I don't even know what month we are. Oh, this is a good one. This comes up a lot. Would you like to work smarter, not harder? That's the next one. See you next week, everyone. Thank you for coming, and make sure you subscribe, share, follow, like, do all of that because, you know, I love it and it keeps me going. And send me messages if you learnt something and fill out my form when I put it up. Okay, I'm over now.